to be famous particularly, and I never did. And I don't see this massive level of success in terms of the fame and everything, where a lot of people would let it get to their heads and a lot of people would let it destroy them and they start mixing with the wrong people or doing stupid things. I don't even see it necessarily as a positive for me. So it's very hard to get wrapped up in something that you don't like very much.
So if you could rewind the fame, you would?
No. I feel
get rid of it?
No, I wouldn't. I feel, all the messages and the letters I get of young men whose lives have changed in a positive way because of me, the letters I get from single mothers who say, look, my teenage boys were on the wrong track. They've got no father in their life. They started watching your stuff. Now they go to the boxing gym. They quit smoking weed. They're going to church. All of this positivity that I get from it. I mean, how bad am I really suffering? I'm not going to paint myself as some sort of martyr, like suffering for other people, because fame has its upsides. Of course, fame has its upsides. So I don't necessarily like it, but I wouldn't throw it away, because the good that I can do with it is so, even in a selfish way, it makes me happy. And it's so powerful. Sure, you can misunderstand Andrew and my message, and if you listen to the mainstream media, you can listen to tiny sound bites and say that I say dangerous things. But what's the core of my message? Work extremely hard so you don't have to rely on the government for your food. Train hard, be smart, become knowledgeable, take care of your mother, take care of the women in your life. People say, oh, you want women to be your slaves? I'm like, no, I want to take care of my woman. If you become a billionaire and your wife wants a job, I don't care what you do. But there's nothing about my message of become so successful that you can take care of people that is toxic in any way. And that's what I spread. And I like the fame for that reason, the fact that that message gets out. And I feel like I'm a very important voice, and my brother is a very important voice in that. And going through the jail and going through this legal process is not hurting us like they want it to. It's proving more to the point that, yes, they don't want you listening to us. And yes, we are who we say we are. We haven't come out and become drug addicts or alcoholics or started crying or talking about how unfair this is. We truly don't give a shit, and we're ready for it.
So I work in drugs education schools, and I think your anti-drugs message is fantastic for the young people.
Thank you.
And I'm sure tons of young people are watching this right now. Could you just reiterate that message for those kids?
The message is very simple. To get out of any situation, you need momentum. A rocket ship needs momentum to get into the orbit of Earth. You want to go to the moon, the Apollo 11 rocket needed momentum. That's what it needed. So all the people who come along and say, oh, a bit of cocaine's fine, a bit of weed is fine. Maybe it is.
The reason why you're so nervous is because you're smart. The last thing you want to be is not nervous right now, because nerves are going to save you. It's a terrible feeling, but you're going to get over it. Those nerves exist because you're aware of the variables. You're aware of the possibilities. You're aware of the danger of it all. A delusional, stupid person who's just confident, they can win. It's possible. They can still win. And they can have no nerves at all. And they can go in there, they can kick everybody's ass. But your senses will be heightened, as long as you're not overwhelmed by fear. Customato, who trained Mike Tyson, used to say, fear is like a fire. You can cook with it or you can burn your house down. The reason why you're so nervous...
Fine. I'm not saying it's going to kill you. What I'm saying is this. I come from a horrible place. Luton is horrible. Sorry, Lutonians. Sorry for everyone still living in that town. You're from England. You're from England. You're from England. You know it's grim. And I needed momentum to escape Luton, to make the first $1 million, to broaden my horizons, to go and see the world. I needed momentum. And the thing about drugs, and I've never touched them, it's funny they accuse me of being a criminal now, but when I was flat broke and I got offered money to deal drugs and stuff, I refused it. I've never done crime and I've never done drugs. And the scary thing about them is, as much as I may have, at 16 or 17, puffed my bit of marijuana, and it wouldn't have killed me, may not have even hurt me, may have had a great time, may have made some new friends, it would have also killed that little bit of extra momentum I had. That little bit of momentum my brother and I had to sit there and, instead of getting high, look around at the reality of our situation and say, this is shit. We need to do something better than this. The marijuana would have made our nights fun. We would have sat there and played video games and ate pizza and had a good old time, but we didn't. We put our heads together and said, how can we make some bloody money and get out of here? It kills your momentum, young people. And in an alternate reality, there's a Tristan Tate who did a bit of and did a bit of weed, and now works a pretty decent job, I don't know, brokering insurance in Hertfordshire and makes 50 grand a year, but he isn't me. It kills your momentum. You should stay away from them.
And that is so powerful because you're not saying, don't take drugs, they're bad for you. You're saying, yeah, you can have a bit of fun, but the reality is it's going to completely change your life trajectory from your own personal experience.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So you were accused of, I'm not going to imply, you were accused of drug dealing, involved in the drug world.
So I am a convicted ecstasy importer into the States, and I take full responsibility.
Okay, good. Fair enough. I didn't know whether you did or not. Okay, so you are a drug dealer. You were a drug dealer.
Yes.
So you were a drug dealer, and you come along to schools and all these programs and stuff, as you should, and you do a very important job, and credit to you, Sean, and you say, this is bad, selling them is bad, taking them is bad, drugs are bad. And
I give the consequences that happened in my life. My mum had a nervous breakdown. My sister had to have counselling. I give them the stories about the cockroaches, the spiders, the food, the dead rats in it, all that kind of stuff.
So, and that's a very important thing you're doing, and I think that the world needs to hear from people like you. I want to ask you a question. My brother and I always preach against any kind of use of pornography. Don't pay money to webcam girls. Don't pay money to female Twitch streamers. Don't subscribe to OnlyFans. And we preach this religiously. And we tell young men to stay away from it. And the reason we do that is because we actually used to run that small webcam studio. Well, I used to mainly. And I saw all the negative effects it had on my customers, you know? And these women would take the money from these webcam guys, not really give a shit about them. I saw it as a dangerous addiction. Some of these customers were truly addicted by it. The question I have for you is, do you think it's hypocritical that people say to me now, you shouldn't criticize OnlyFans and stuff because you used to have a business in it? Or do you see it the same as kind of your situation?
So I've got an addictive, adrenaline junkie personality type. And the therapist said to me,